So, firstly, welcome everyone. Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. My name is Navneet Singh, and I am a part of the Sikh Heritage Month Foundation. I wanted to welcome you all in our second week of programming, and thank you for attending today's program. A reminder to visit sikhheritagemonth.ca for more information on upcoming programming and to register for any Zoom events. Now, I would like to welcome and introduce our speaker today, Inderpreet Singh. Inderpreet Singh is a technology professional focusing on cloud, networking, and solution architecture. He has a passion for Sikhi and Sikh community-related projects. Inderpreet also does various seminars, workshops, and lectures on Gurmat-related topics. And now, without further ado, I would like to pass it to Inderpreet Singh to start today's programming.
Thank you, Navneet. Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. I hope everyone can see the screen. So yeah, as Navneet mentioned, I have been doing these type of events for quite a while, but for Sikh Heritage Month is the first time, even though I did spend some time in Canada, Toronto area as a child, then during my professional career for about 3 or 4 years. It's great to see like a more formalized every April Sikh Heritage Month, and I've been following it from here down. I'm in the Northeast in the US, yeah, this is my passion. I'm a member of the board of directors of the Sikh Research Institute, and it's a privilege to be here and share with you about Guru Gobind Singh. So if even before I start, just to get a feel for, I'm not able to see how many of you are, but I'm going to, I've typed up a few questions in the chat. If you can just go to your chat, and I'll also, of course, say it, just to get an idea of, I love to know who my audience is, and then can match the narrative based on that. So it's 3 simple questions. Again, yeah, don't if you don't know, no problem, but if you do, just share with me, and I'll be able to follow. The first question is, if you do know, what age was Nanak the 10th? Guru Gobind, now we know him as Guru Gobind Singh Sahib. We know his name wasn't that when he was born, but what age did he become Guru? That's number 1. Number 2, what age was he when that Vaisakhi, that formidable event of Vaisakhi 1699 occurred in Anandpur Sahib? So what age did he become Guru? What age did the Vaisakhi of 1699 take place? So Guru Sahib was of what age? And then finally, there's a very common and very oft quoted Shabad that gets recited during the time frame of either Vaisakhi or Guru Gobind Singh Ji's Gurpurab. Is Joto Prem Khilan Ka Chao Sirhat Tali Gali Mariao Itamarik Padri Jese Dije Khan Na Kije, right? So could you share with me who you know, who is the revealer of this Shabad? Who is the one who has quoted the Shabad and written it? So I'll give you a couple of minutes. Anyone who wants to just share answer to the questions, that will be give me a little idea of where we're going. And then I'll start in earnest. Yeah, guessing is completely fine. So feel free to just throw out numbers or anything like that. Okay, we're getting 13 years for Guru Gaddi and 30 to 31 for Khalsa Sajna Divas. Okay. Any guess on who was the revealer of that Shabad? Oh, yeah, I see someone saying 9 years old for number 1, 31 for number 2, and Guru Nanak Sahib Ji for who was the revealer of that Shabad. Okay. Excellent. So that's good, and yeah, we'll go through that, and we'll kind of understand why I was asking these questions. Another, that's part of the agenda, but another disclaimer that I would like to put is that these images that you see, I'm not a fan of images or portraits of the Guru, and it's really there to kind of explain the narrative. I've want to also share that a lot of these images that you'll see in the later parts of the slide are courtesy of the Punjab Digital Library. Both Sikhri and Punjab Digital Library did a 350th anniversary of Guru Gobind Singh Ji's Gurpurab a few years ago, and I've used those, but the narrative will be mine. And again, I am not here to set the facts straight and set an opinion straight. It is just sharing. There may be interpretations of mine that are not agreeable to others, and that's perfectly fine. And you know, I hope you'll stay till the end so that we can have question and answers as well. So, but I am by no means an expert in this field. I'm not a you know, art historian or even a historian from that perspective, but history of the Sikh gurus is definitely something that I inspire myself with. So starting with an inspiration, obviously you saw the title, right? Guru Gobind Singh Sahib, the rider of the blue steed. Growing up, I somehow have kept in my mind this very small poem that you know, I was recently reintroduced with because my girls are going to Khalsa school and they were learning that is Neela Koda Banka Joda Hat Vich Baaj Sajaye Ne. It's about Guru Gobind Singh Ji. You know, the Neela Koda, the blue horse. It's like a thing that was in the back of my head in the early years of my childhood as well. Growing up, and lots of Sikh families hear that, and but it's only recently that there are poets, there are academics, there are, you know, many others who refer to Guru Gobind Singh Ji's blue horse, and it's quite phenomenal that you know, we have the Sikh psyche has a space, has an imagery of Guru Gobind Singh Ji, right? We kind of know the martyrdom of Guru Teghbahadur Sahib time when he was a child, and then we fast forward to when he's fully clad in the Khalsa Bana in 1699, and you know, finalizes the inauguration of the Khalsa and onwards. So, right, but how did all that imagery of what we know in our Sikh psyche of Guru Gobind Singh Ji, his personality, his archetype, how did all that develop is really what we're going to get, hopefully attempt to go through. So this is from Professor Puran Singh, often quoted by Sikhri and members of our circle. And in that also he mentions the blue horse. He says, riding his blue horse clad in the robe of the whole starry heaven and followed by his 5 horsemen, you know, related to the Panch Pyare, he goes riding by the doors of his lowly disciples still. And as the horses strike the rocks, the sleeping ones awaken still and sing. O King of purple eternity, who loves us, who comes and lies with us at night, unknown to us, comforting us in our distress. The weaver of the crest jewel of all godliness, all humanity, come and meet us, the peasants of Punjab. Professor Puran Singh was very, in his writings, in his expressions, he really ties the gurus to the land of Punjab and the peasants of Punjab. And this small poem that he wrote up also has that. Oh, glorious Guru Gobind Singh, come right through our hearts, come right through our eyes. So Guru Gobind Singh Ji's life, his impact on the Sikhs is obviously goes without saying. One of the things we'll cover is like sometimes a misconception that he changed, he transformed, he completely you know, converted us from a peace-loving and you know, very spiritualist type of movement to a more of a revolutionary movement. And you know, is that really the case? Is it true that a transformation is what he did, a change is what he did, or it was just more of a continuation of an agenda? So I already mentioned the images that we're going to cover. Then any discussion of Guru Gobind Singh Ji would be incomplete without a discussion or narration of the gurus that came before him as well, from a historical perspective, from a spiritual perspective, from everything. The whole beings of the guru are one, right? There's one jot in all of the gurus. So I do want to spend some time in the beginning just narrating a few very important kind of development phases of the Sikh Panth through the institution building that the prior Guru forms provided. And then this age of 9 years old, this is so someone who had written that is correct. It was in 1675, after the martyrdom of Guru Teghbahadur Sahib, after the Shaheed of Guru Teghbahadur Sahib, till 1699, that many years of the final preparations of the preparations that had been done through the ages is really what I would, from a lens of that time frame of Guru Gobind Singh Ji's life, is the final preparations. It's not a, you know, like a, as they say in the startup world, a pivot. You know, we have going through some vision or some strategy. You know, we didn't get that sale, so hey, let's pivot and let's try something else. It was not a pivoting. It was more of the final touches and the reiterations of the changes of the progression of the development of the Sikh community. And it was what I would present in three areas. Obviously, continuing the fight of his father of the liberty of worship. So really, you know, cutting out the intermediary or any type of suppression of the right to worship. He solidifies it. Dignified living, the caste system, since the time of Guru Nanak, who tried to, you know, the egalitarian and equalization work and inclusion work that Guru Nanak Sahib had begun, still 240 years later was a plague on that society of the time, the caste system, and the oppression of any type of economic, political, and any of those rights. So worship, dignified living, and self-governance is what the final preparations that were needed, is what Guru Sahib did. So again, this is an image from that 350th anniversary, and I like this because it pretty much has everything that I would in the past used to have in like 3 or 4 slides. So if I may start. These words that you see on top for each of the gurus, humility, submission, equality, service, are core values attributed to those gurus through the writings of by Nand Lal Ji. Within the Guru Granth Sahib itself, there is clear indication that Jot Oha Jugat Sahi. So the divine light, as well as the mechanism and the activities of that divine of that body that contains that divine light were the same. Jot Oha Jugat Sai Sakaya Pher Palatiya. The only thing that changed in the context of the gurus was the body. So both the message, both the methodology of, you know, executing that message was exactly the same. So in essence, we only have one guru. It starts with the Guru Shabad, 10 guru personas, and today it's the Guru Granth Sahib and Guru Khalsa Panth. But at the end, it's one divine light within all of the gurus. But by Nand Lal Ji, through his poetry, through his compositions, in one specifically called Ganjnama, has highlighted these core values of humility, submission, equality, etc., through each of the gurus. And you know, if we delve into their what we call our sakhis, our oral traditions, even you know, historical texts of the episodes of the lives of all of the gurus, we will see that these core values of compassion, for example, for Guru Har Rai Sahib, justice for Guru Har Gobind Sahib, you know, were a highlight. But all of the gurus had all of those core values, of course, but it was more of a highlight. Secondly, you will see from this image or slide here is these colored dots all over the place. So one of the things that academics or historians try to confine the gurus as mere reformers of spirituality, of you know, yes, definitely a continuation of the bhakti movement and equalization of caste rights, etc. But these colored dots here show each guru, each of these is a city within the area of Punjab that was established by the gurus themselves. So just a mere spiritualist or a mere prophet, what need do they have of establishing brand new cities and civilizations? The city of Amritsar did not exist prior to Guru Amar Das Ji is the one who appointed Guru Ram Das Ji to go and build out the city. Guru Ram Das Ji, Guru Arjan Sahib, they were key into building out the whole city of Amritsar. Anandpur Sahib, where the 240-year journey of the Gurus ends, is a town that the land was purchased by Guru Teghbahadur Ji, and the construction of it was started, and Guru Gobind Singh Sahib finishes it with the establishment of forts over there. So cities, towns are being established by our Gurus all through those 240 years as well. Obviously, the very first one was Kartarpur, which is on the western Punjab side today, Guru Nanak Sahib. So fabulous way of understanding the breadth of the contributions of our Guru is by knowing and getting to learn. We get a little bit of geography in our repertoire, and learn where these cities were, how they were established, and what was significant happening in those cities. We continue on that, and this is just we put this together as to what were the other contribution of our Gurus is the establishment or the gracing of rights that were suppressed through the ages in that region, and then in world history as well. But the very first prison rights movement, this is in the context of Guru Nanak Sahib being taken prisoner of war during Babur's invasion in Saidpur, and had to do jail time labor, but he protests in the form of Shabad, and Babur had to basically acquiesce and let Guru Sahib go. He was causing too much chaos in the prison. So education rights, the Gurmukhi formalization of our script, that is a unique marker of a civilization as well, is having their own unique sovereign script, was Guru Angad Sahib Ji. Equality and women's rights highlighted during Guru Amar Das Ji's time. Guru Ram Das Ji establishes Amritsar. Not only was it establishing of a city, but he it's like these venture capitalists or angel investors. He's organizing different businesses, different sections of Amritsar today, which is changing rapidly. Had different sections that were particular kinds of markets, and there were all of the markets that Guru Ram Das Ji himself attracted merchants and business people to come and set up shop in Amritsar. Guru Arjan Sahib, the establishment of the scriptural canon of the Sikhs, which now we know as Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji, in the Ad Granth form, having that liberty, having that right to establish a faith, was Guru Arjan Sahib. So you see, all of the Gurus had something to contribute. I do want to highlight Guru Har Krishan Sahib. While all of this institutional establishment was going on, the growth of responsibility of the Sangats that attached to the Gurus was also growing. Along the path, the Gurus started taking counsel from their different Sangats, and the Sangats of Delhi is well known to have basically advised Guru Arjan Sahib against the what was going to be a marriage between then Baba Har Gobind Ji to the daughter of Chandu Brahman, and because they knew of his ulterior motives in doing so, so they're advising the Guru. So all of the Sangats were getting more active within the affairs of the Guruship as well. So much so that during Guru Har Krishan Sahib's time, he trusts the Sangat enough to say that the next Guru is in Bakala. You guys go and figure out who it is. But I'll just tell you that it is that Guru is residing in the village of Bakala. So Baba Bakala, before he passes away. So the growth of responsibility of the Sikhs is such that now they are also being asked to um, recognize and recognize and reveal who their next guru is, and that is really the essence of Vaisakhi of 1699, where after the preparations were done, Guru Gobind Singh Sahib Ji, he invests that sovereignty within the Sangats himself, known as the Guru Khalsa Panth. So you see this idea of Guru Gobind Singh Ji comes in and makes a flash change, a repivot, needs to, at least from my perspective, over and over, us Sikhs need to have that narrative in mind that there is no difference between Guru Nanak and Guru Gobind Singh or any gurus in between. So when we look at the Guruship of Guru Gobind Singh Ji, we got to look at it in that light. It's a continuation of the message. It's a continuation of the Jyot, the divine light, as well as the divine methodology of revealing that and empowering the Sangats along the way. At this point, I just do want to remind, feel free to shoot questions in the chat. Our moderator will help, collect them. We can, if it's an urgent one, I don't mind even being interrupted in between, but we'll hopefully leave some time for questions in the end as well. So that was setting the stage of, let's go quickly through some of the life episodes of Guru Gobind Singh Sahib. So 1666, Guru Gobind Singh Sahib was born in the city of Patna, which is in Bihar, like central India, and lovely Sakhi. So even when he was a child, not the Guru yet, there was definitely something special that the Sangats, his family members and the Sangats around him knew that the images here are showing, but while the Guru was being brought up in just of those 4 years within the city of Patna, it's clear based on the oral tradition and the stories that we hear about him is how in tune he is with Gurbani. A very funny episode is about what I call the Bengal Sakhi, where the Guru was gifted some gold. The child Bala Pritam Gobind Rai at that time. There are, by the way, texts will refer to the young Gobind as Gobind Rai or Gobind Das as well. And I'm not, again, like I said, I'm not a historian. I'm not here to comment on the words. Even the dates may be off. It's really the narrative of the in tune with Gurbani at a young age. He had these bangles, and he throws one of the bangles into the bank. This is the river Ganga over there in Patna, and the attendants or the disciples of the Guru Teghbahadur at the time, oh my goodness, he threw away such an expensive thing into the river, and they go and complain to Mata Gujri, and Mata Gujri calls her brother Kirpal Das is also there. The attendants are like, where did you throw the bangle? What happened here? Where did you throw the bangle? They ask him. He takes off his other bangle. He had 2 karas. He takes both of them. He takes the second one off and throws it exactly where he threw the other one. He says, I threw it over there. the interesting, funny story, maybe. What is the message? What I take as the message is, the Guru Teghbahadur Ji's Bani has an exact quote, is that Kanchan Mati Mane idea over there, is that the one who understands gold to be as good or as valuable as sand or dust is the one who is the enlightened one. It's phenomenal that, again, I'm maybe interpreting into it a little bit, but that's a favorite Shabad of mine. Every time I read it, Guru Teghbahadur Ji's Shabad, that comes to mind, and I really introspect and see, all of the worldly possessions that I myself have, we all have. If we lose them, what will our attitude be? What will our persona be? And the gurus here are writing it, but they're living it as well at the same time. is a beautiful narrative. So basically the foundation is strong of the young Gobind, of what he has to do. Then comes 1675. I'm not going to go through the whole historical episode of the Shahidi of Guru Teghbahadur Ji, but what is significant over here is in the chaos of what happened in Delhi in the Chandni Chowk area at that time, one of the Sikhs of the Guru was able to bring the head of his father, Guru Gobind Rai's father, to Anandpur Sahib. So they had then moved from Patna to Anandpur, and from Anandpur Sahib, Guru Teghbahadur Ji was, taking care of the affairs of the Guruship, ended up being arrested, taken to Delhi. And when the head of the Guru Teghbahadur Ji comes to Anandpur Sahib, by the way, near Anandpur Sahib, within Anandpur Sahib, but near Keshgar Sahib, is another Gurdwara which has the same exact name as the Gurdwara in Delhi, which is called Seesganj. And that is where the head of Guru Teghbahadur Ji was cremated. But prior to that, when he receives the head from this young Sikh, who he termed later on Rangreta Guru Ka Beta, right? So a dear son of the Gurus. His name was Bhai Jeevan Singh, Jaita. He asks, like, what happened here? Were there not Sikhs there protesting the injustice that was going on? What were the Sikhs of Delhi doing? And Jaita Jeevan Singh explains the situation, that they had hid back and they were not to be seen. It was not clear who was who, and so in the young Guru, the plan starts solidifying that we need to do something. Things have gone way beyond peaceful resistance, that something has to be done to be able to have a community of Sikhs available who will stand up. The whole idea is to stand up for other people's rights, and if the Sikhs can't stand up for their own rights, how will they fight for others' rights? Right? That's the kind of the idea. A young 9-year-old now Guru Gobind Rai gets planted. Interestingly, by Jeevan Singh, the Sikh who brought the head of Guru Teghbahadur Ji to Anandpur Sahib happens to be a Sikh who was a companion and has known the Guru family since the days of Patna. So he is actually very close to the Guru, which obviously makes sense. And I learned this way later in my quote unquote studies of Sikhi, that it was not like a random Sikh who was walking around and said, "Oh, I better take the head over." This was a confidant of the Guru who says that this is what's important. This is what needs to go and be shown to the young Gobind Rai. So interesting tidbit about who then became Bhai Jeevan Singh after 1699 and stayed with the Guru till the end. So the final preparation, it's more of an inauguration. Like, when a software is getting released, you need the final QA test, etc. But prior to the final QA test, you've got to do some rapid, final, cross the I's and dot the T's. And that's what I believe went on from the 1676 to the 1699 time frame. So let me just give you, based on what I believe these are the things that are going on. Poetry and literature, scholars are being created, military practice is going on, the ideas of self-governance and defense. There was a big emphasis by Guru Gobind Singh Ji on music as well. And the oneness and the demolition of caste was another big part of his agenda. 1675, Guru Teghbahadur Ji gets martyred. Within 9 years now, one of the first things that really upsets the status quo within the Sikhs, as well as, one must understand, the area of Anandpur Sahib was under the what we call the 22 hill Rajas. The Rajas, it was their land, but this property around Anandpur Sahib was bought and being built by the Sikh Gurus. So the first thing that irked the ire of those that considered themselves sovereigns of the land, as Guru Gobind Rai had got constructed a huge Nagara, which he named the Ranjit Nagara. So the Nagara is a royal paraphernalia. It's an insignia of royalty. And when Guru Gobind Rai used to go on the hunt, it announces that the hunting party is on its way. It was also used to announce, the big, huge drum announced that langar was ready for the langar service has begun. And till this day, in our gurdwaras, most all gurdwaras have a Nagara as part of that tradition. But this irked the ire of a particular Raja Bhim Chand. Also, because remember, no guru lives in isolation. They're living based on things that the prior gurus had also done. So disciples of Guru Teghbahadur Ji from Assam, the king of Assam, had come and to do darshan of Guru Gobind Singh Ji and provides him with various gifts. Other disciples from, I think it was in this case Kabul, but definitely from the West Punjab side also came, and the historical chroniclers write the two major things also irked this Raja Bhim Chand, and that was a very well-trained elephant. So again, a sign of royalty, and a jewel-studded canopy. So Ranjit Nagara, jewel-studded canopy, this kind of the sovereign royal gifts and the mahal of Anandpur Sahib is as such that so there's this ire of these hill rajas and kind of a jealousy being put in place. So Guru Sahib understands that, and I'm getting into maybe too much detail, sorry, but he leaves. I wanted to just share a timeline. He leaves Anandpur Sahib for the area called Ponta in July 1685, so a decade after. While at this area called Ponta, there is the first battle that gets fought. He was only there for about 3 years. So 1688, 1689 timeframe, he returns back to Anandpur Sahib because of the experience of the battles. When I talk about self-governance and defense, another project, the final preparations begin, and Guru Gobind Singh Sahib has the Sangat start building forts around Anandpur Sahib. And we'll talk about that. So forts are starting to be built, 1689, and the whole project was a 10-year project. So a decade of doing his thing, understanding, taking care of the affairs of Guruship, but then that first battle really makes him realize, okay, the final preparations have to be sped up, and the forts need to get built. But all during this time, music, literature, poetry, there was not a day of his chronicles, right, where morning Asakivar, evening Rehras, that Guru was not involved in all of the what we know as our faith traditions. So very interesting, different areas that he's working on. So let's go through a few more of the images, and I'll walk you through some tidbits about that. The poets. So we all know that Guru Gobind Singh Ji had 52 towards the final gathering of his poets within his court were 52 in number. In this is also well known as by Nandlal Ji, also Kavi Senapati. Maybe some of you have heard of the works of Sri Guru Soba are in there as well. But in this area of Paonta Sahib, Guru Gobind Singh Ji himself is indulging in the literary arts, and patronage is being given to anyone and everyone who would like to come and, within the umbrella of the Guru, also indulge in poetry and literature. And this is something that, if the image of Guru Gobind Singh Ji is just the a warrior and battle hardened, that idea that there was this whole program of poetry and the literary arts being given patronage by him, and him indulging in it himself, gets lost. And it starts at Ponta, doesn't finish there, and continues on in those 10 years after he returns after Ponta Sahib back to Anandpur Sahib as well. And the scholar. So in that second decade, in Anandpur Sahib, he did some traveling as well, but traveling around that area. And a couple of things that I've known in the past, and maybe not well known, that scholars like people who we have heard of, by Mani Singh and Baba Deep Singh, who we also know as martyrs and warriors, were actually established themselves in Talwandi Ki Sabo for basically the scribing of Gurbani and Guru Granth Sahib, and again creation of the literary arts over there. Furthermore, Guru Gobind Singh Ji is known to have sent a group of Sikhs to Varanasi, where the learning of the literary arts of Sanskrit and others was also encouraged by the Guru. So whilst all this, the Miri Piri idea, while the Piri work is going on, there's Miri work, while the Miri work is going on, Piri work is also going on at the same time. And again, 1676 onwards until 1699, and further from that as well. I do want to spend a little bit time on music. Again, my growing up oral tradition that's been shared with me, not necessarily just within my family, but with the sangats that I've interacted with. Many would say, oh, Guru Gobind Singh Ji knew so many different rags, which is absolutely true. We have available with him in Shabad Hazare and others. Rag Ramkali, there's something, Reman Aso Kar Sanyasa is a Shabad that I grew up with. Had no idea it was Guru Gobind Singh Ji, and no idea it was in Rag Ramkali, but it is. And the stringed instrument, the taus, I've been told was his favorite instrument. But one of the things which I was trying to find documentary evidence on, and this image, when I saw it, it kind of reminded me of where I had heard this. I don't remember where I read it. I don't remember. Guru Gobind Singh Ji was also known to have encouraged the learning of music and musical instrument to the blind and underprivileged as well, which is very interesting. And the image over here is just showing, not all of them are dressed like Sikhs, but they're learning music as well. So empowering the general sangats in all of the different arts of every kind. Martial arts is also an art. We'll also see, right? Was something that Guru Gobind Singh Ji was, the episodes of his life, if we delve into it, it's phenomenal ideas of this, bringing everyone together, normal, like equalizing the playing field in all affairs of life was what something Guru Gobind Singh Ji was very well known for. While I'm on this, another oral tradition that I'd share with you is a very simple Sakhi that many of you have heard. So while Anandpur Sahib is growing, everyone knows that Bhai Nandlal Ji had moved in there as well. The story goes that Guru Gobind Singh Ji would occasionally disguise himself at night as a commoner and go and visit the house of well-established Sikhs or Sikhs around. And because his injunction was, and not just his, but from the time of Guru Nanak, was to any needy who comes to your house or to your place to feed them the langar. And he would go and kind of test his Sikhs, is what is the attitude of the Sikhs vis-a-vis those that come to their homes in need of something, in need of food. And by Nandlal Ji, it is known in this whole story, passes with flying colors. Other Sikhs would give just a little bit, whatever they had left over. By Nandlal Ji and his family would prepare a proper hot meal for the visitor. Again, it's an oral tradition. I'm not here to question facts, factoids, and dates, etc. But the idea is, whilst all of the preparation is going on for 1699, Guru Sahib is not even the minute details of the Sikh psyche that was established from Guru Nanak's time is being continued as well. And the warriors. Yeah, I mentioned the first battle of Guru Gobind Singh Ji it's called the Battle of Bangani. It was in 16, again, dates change, 88, 89, in Ponta outside of that. Interestingly, oh, one thing I do want to mention, right? Everyone knows Guru Hargobind Sahib, of course, had an army. Guru Har Rai Ji is known, Sikh Chronicles, right? Always had with him a cavalry of 2,200 horsemen. So it's not like a military or an army had to be built from scratch for the Guru, right? That was the tradition that was continuing from Guru Hargobind Ji's time. However, there were others within the military that were non-Sikhs, especially like 500 Pathans and a few others. That Battle of Bangani was very interesting, and there's many books written about it. And Guru Sahib is supposed to have written about it himself. Basically, they deserted. So mercenaries that were in the armies, essentially, the paid ones were deserted, and the Sikhs fought themselves. However, even in that battle, it is known that Pir Buddhu Shah, a devotee of the Guru, because those that deserted were Pathans, came with his 4 sons and 700 other men, and most of them were sacrificed in that battle as well. So warriors are being prepared within the Sikh ranks, and also other disciples of the Gurus. So and we're talking about multiple battles that get fought. I have one image on that as well. Okay, I had mentioned that after Guru Sahib returns from Ponta Sahib, which I don't know the exact number of miles, but it's south of Anandpur, or I know it's near the area of Dehradun. These forts, the project of building the forts starts, and you'll see over here there's a listing of 6 forts, even though there's mention of the Panj Kile, or five forts. Interestingly, the way that the forts are laid out is they're basically defensive borders around the city of Anandpur, and right smack center in the city of Anandpur is the blessed fort of uncut hair, Keshgar. So Keshgar, I mean, again, we could go on in a different session somewhere and talking about the Kesh and what Keshgar symbolizes. This is where the inauguration of the Khalsa Sajna, actually happened right at that location. Are protected by Anandgarh, Lohgarh, Holgarh, Fatehgarh, and Taragarh. Again, we do not have, unfortunately, witness of the original architecture of those forts. This image right here is very emotional for a lot of people, because the image on top is actually a photograph of what the original Anandgarh used to look like. But we do not have that today. It was torn down, reconstructed with marble, and you know how the narrative goes about the saving of our heritage. Speaking of Sikh Heritage Month, the heritage within the homeland is diminishing by every day. And but this is a last known image of the architecture of Anandgarh. But point is, Guru Sahib had this project started. It took a decade. By 1699, all of the forts were well established and got fortified. I'm looking at the time. I'm going to I think we talked about the next slide. Sorry, about the battles. But and I made this point as well. There's the next image. So the idea of Sikhs being able to battle and have this warrior tradition starts with Guru Hargobind Sahib, but also I even emphasize the narrative that Guru Hargobind Sahib was also not a change or a pivot. It was based on the circumstances, what was needed, because this is very like perceptive for me. Others may or may not agree with it, but one does not think about who were the teachers of the young gurus in those days, who taught them the art of battle and the martial arts. And it is not a well-known fact that the teacher of Guru Hargobind Sahib, when he was growing, he also became Guru at a very young age after the Shahidi of Guru Arjan Sahib, was none other than a very Sikh of Guru Nanak's time. A Guru Nanak Sikh, known as Baba Buddha Ji, is the martial arts ustad teacher of Guru Hargobind Ji. So the idea that, you know, a Sikh of the Guru also doesn't become a well-known ustad in you know, like an overnight episode after the martyrdom. So there is that idea. It is also well known. Guru Angad Sahib was also gave patronage to wrestling as a activity within the Sikh Sangats as well. So this physical fitness, preparation, and you know, well-roundedness in the Miri Piri ideas also all begin with Guru Nanak and is more of a continuation. The name Teghbahadur itself means brave sword, the brave sword. And the reason why he was named that is because he showed his skill in battle. Guru Hargobind Sahib's son was Guru Teghbahadur. It was known earlier initially as Tyagmal, but because of his you know, like activity in battle where he proved himself, Guru Hargobind Sahib names him Teghbahadur. So all of what I'm trying to show is the chain of this war. It's not happening in a vacuum. It's not coming in an abrupt manner. It is well known at the times of Guru Arjan that he got the Sikhs started calling him Sacha Padshah, which irked the Mughal Badshahs of that time as well. Is how can a parallel system have been started? This is an image where Punjabi poets are writing about what would, like, their imagination of what the courts of the Gurus would look like. What my point over here is to show that the courts are starts getting established, and the terminology being used for the Gurus started multiple, even a century before Guru Gobind Singh Ji arrived on the scene. One of the things that was very common for all the Gurus to do is transform the existing traditions and cultures. Holi was the existing tradition of just playing with color. Guru Sahib transforms that and makes it Hola Malla, and makes it a practical, with color, practice of military exercises and battle. So beautiful, and we make it our own. We make it, it's a sovereign tradition of ours, right? When Holi occurs, or other traditions within that region of Diwali, Dussehra, Holi, there is a Sikh sovereign lens on all of those that the Gurus gave us, and many Sikhs do continue to partake in it. Others just you know, don't pay attention to it, and because of the outside pressures of other cultures and communities, are not able to stand independently on it, which is fine. But the Gurus did establish it, and it's well known that. So this was the conversion of Holi to Hola Malla happens in the later part of that decade, based on what I've read. It's in the late or the mid 1695 time frame, as the forts were being built. So Holgar was the area where this would take place. I want to spend some time on the next one, right? When the final preparations of anything are required, there's sometimes a, hey guys, this didn't work out. Let's not go this route, and like components of software have to be like commented out and say, okay, we're not going to use it anymore, and we'll go for it. Again, I'm providing that type of analogy. So this is precisely what Guru Gobind Singh Sahib had to do with this institution that was started by the time of Guru Angad Sahib, which is called the Masand system. as I mentioned, that the communities of Sikhs were building wide and across South Asia and beyond. And there were sort of emissaries of the gurus or representatives of the gurus that were in all of the different communities, and they would come during those major festivals and have direct darshan of the guru and engage in community building affairs, right? However, by the time of Guru Gobind Singh Ji, this Masan system had essentially become corrupt. There were not representative of the gurus and the gurus' attitudes and traditions, and they were very, taking advantage of the Sikh Sangats. But I do want to narrate over here that Guru Gobind Singh Sahib probably heard of this going on, but he had direct evidence of this as well. And this direct evidence comes through an interesting episode, again, started at the time of his grandfather, Guru Har Rai Sahib. So Guru Har Rai Sahib's son, Ram Rai, I'm not going to go through the whole story. Everyone knows that Ram Rai, essentially because of he was a representative of the Sikhs, gone to the throne of Delhi, but acquiesced to the Mughal emperor's demands, and the Guru Har Rai Sahib essentially excommunicated him from the Sikh Panth and from the family. And he goes and resides in this area called Dera, sets up a Dera in an area in the valley of Doon Valley in that region, which is very near Paonta Sahib, and continues to flourish over there. What Ram Rai had around him and even kind of guiding him was a set of Masans as well. There were Masans all across the Punjab, which Guru Teghbahadur had to deal with. Guru Gobind Singh Ji obviously had to deal with, but the Ram Rai's Masans, essentially the narrative goes in our historical chronicles that essentially burnt alive Ram Rai when he was in a trance, and they said, oh, he's dead, and they cremated him and wanted to usurp the power. So his wife was known as Punjab Kaur, reaches out to Guru Gobind Singh Ji in that time of dire need. Also, our chronicles will share that Guru Gobind Singh Ji did also have a conversation with Ram Rai, and Ram Rai starts getting a little bit melancholic and shares with him that the Masans are basically gaining too much influence and are trying to take over his quote-unquote Dera as well. So anyway, lots of family but Sikhi related institutional questions going on at that time, where he then realizes that the whole Masan system will not work out for what Guru Gobind Singh Ji's plans were. And I did not know this, but I learned that 15 days prior to Vaisakhi 1699, first of Vaisakh of 1699, 15 days prior to that, a hukamnama is sent out by Guru Gobind Singh Ji, essentially abolishing the Masan system once and for all. So different, so it didn't happen again, not in isolation on that one day, 15 days prior, but episodes that he's gone through and he's experienced. Guru Gobind Singh Sahib, in his plan to inaugurate the Khalsa, the Masan could not be part of that plan. I think it's very significant. This is probably not known by many, but should be, that the self-governance of the Khalsa, the ability for the Khalsa to govern themselves and not through intermediaries. We always share that Sikhs have no priestly class. So got to take what Guru Gobind Singh Ji said and did back then, put it on the lens of to this day and age. Is the Khalsa able to self-govern? Is the Khalsa free to do what it needs to for the betterment of the global Sikh community? Those questions arise by lessons like this and understanding history like this. So, as I mentioned, I will not be going into what happened in 1699 and beyond. And I think there's many sessions you will have that will delve into that. But when we, just going back to the beginning, when we get into where Guru Gobind Singh Ji, what image in our minds do we have of Guru Gobind Singh Sahib, it is that dashing figure of riding on a blue horse with the hawk and the royal plume, etc. And like I said, that's what I grew up with, right? That's what we get known. But that's also what lots of our academics or historians and writers also. It's significant. It's significant that what what Guru Gobind Singh Ji on that day in 1675, when he cremates the head of his father, till 1699, what preparations and what visualization of that the whole process is very nicely covered in a book, in one of the chapters in a book by Sardar Kapoor Singh. It's called Prasara Prasna, and he calls it the archetypical form of Guru Gobind Singh. When the Khande Ki Pahal ceremony is conducted, he explains, Sardar Kapoor Singh explains that the officiants, right, and I'll read it, then all the officiants should visualize in their minds the archetypical form of Guru Gobind Singh, tall, erect, dark blue clad, wearing an agate of pure dazzling gems on his steel discus-laced peaky turban, with a white hawk on his left hand and a pure steel lance in his right, fully armed with a dark blue steed as his mount or vehicle. This is, even in the Sikh Rehat Maryada, when guidance is being given on how the Amrit ceremony is to be conducted, Sardar Kapoor Singh obviously uses excellent language. Some indications of this type of language are in the Sikh Rehat Maryada as well. I just thought to share that. But in my growing up, in our oral traditions, in poems that we learn in Khalsa schools, we will hear Neele Kode Wale, Kalgitar, right, wearer of the royal plume, Chittiyan Baja Wale, Banke Joda Wale, right? These are all different ways of us visualizing, explaining, relating to, narrating Guru Gobind Singh Ji. And what I wanted to kind of bring together is that this is not a deviation of any form. It's for that moment and time and the need, and a grand final inauguration of the revolution of Guru Nanak and how it continues. Then 1699 happens, and that's when he then declares, "Inhi ki kirpa ke saje hum hai." I am decorated by their grace, right? And this is also from Sardar Kapoor Singh, another article. He says, "The last Sikh Guru sternly proclaimed that in all the Sikh Gurus, it was the same light and the identical spirit that historically and successfully manifested itself. And that although the moral frames changed, the identity of the spirit, the light remained intact. After the 10th Guru, the light has been deposited in the Sikh scripture, the Guru Granth, and the spirit continues to operate in the historical, permanent, mystic body of committed Sikhs, the holy congregation of those who followed this light." This is the Sikh doctrine of the condominium of the Granth and the Panth. And I believe very, very much so. 1699 was the Guruship of the Guru Khalsa. 1708, when Guru Gobind Singh Sahib left this worldly form, was the Guruship of Guru Granth Sahib Ji. So the condominium of the Guru Granth and the Guru Panth is what the final preparation was all about. And I hope I covered some of that, to the best that we could. I am done with my talk. I really appreciate, again, if my words or interpretations didn't match with Gurmat, I apologize. But I'm open for any questions or any comments. Anyone? Harneet, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. So
Okay.
I do see that we have just one question that has come in from our question and answer. It's from an anonymous attendee who would just like to know if there's a way of viewing this presentation as a recording sometime later, as they were not able to attend the event. And so this recording of the presentation will be available at Sikh Heritage Month's Instagram. It will be posted there for you to watch anytime you'd like. And that seems to be the only question that has come in so far.
Okay. I hope it was helpful then.
Yeah, the
Anything
presentation was incredible.
anything anything from you, Harneet, maybe?
No questions though, but I did feel like it was very informative. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you. Yes, I hope the audience also enjoyed it. And if there's any questions after, I don't know what the process may be. Maybe those can also be. I'm always open for feedback and questions.
Yep, definitely. In
after
the
event.
recording as well, the chat will be also be there, so you can see any questions that had come in.
All right, sounds good.
Okay, so I guess we can just wrap up now.
Yeah, thank you very much. And yeah, again, as I said, this is just like a small time capsule and my kind of outpouring and rendering of where I see it, but there is no way to do justice to the life of any of the gurus through, a 1-hour talk. And the only way is to delve in all 3 layers of Gurbani, Gur Itihas, and of course, lifestyle itself. So I truly do appreciate the efforts of Sikh Heritage Month Foundation and all of the attendees for doing their part to be the best Sikhs as we can along the way.
Thank you so much, Inderpreet. And I would like to say thank you for your time today as well. And again, thank you to all our attendees for joining in on today's event. I would also just like to say for everyone to please remember to visit sikhheritagemonth.ca to register for any upcoming events. And sorry, Inderpreet, I do see that one question has come in just now.
Okay.
An anonymous attendee would like to know, are there any thoughts on the writing of the Sam Grant's inspiration and influence?
On the Dasam Grant's inspiration and influence, I'm not sure what that means. So all of Guru Sahib's writing, what I was trying to share over here, it obviously starts after 1699. 1675 when he becomes Guru. Our historical chronicles have written that even with the hustle and bustle of regular Guruship affairs, of course, even also during like the battles and all of the political and other problems, Guru Sahib did spend considerable time doing translations and writings, and as I already mentioned, patronage to the literary arts, poetry, both he himself did, and that was a lot of it was in Ponta, but it continued while the other decade back in Anandpur Sahib as well. And I will be honest, depending on who you read, some will say, for example, Jap Sahib was done at Ponta. Some will say another Bani was done at another location. So I would not be qualified to venture to say which Bani happened where. But just, I mean, like I said, I gave the example of, in the mind of a Sikh, as they grow up and they may hear Gurbani of Guru Gobind Singh Ji being sung, those that match up perfectly with what's in the Guru Granth Sahib continue to remain in the mind, right? And the one that I quoted was Reman Aso Kar Sannyasa. You sometimes grow up thinking, oh, Jap Sahib, the language is Braj Bhasha, so that's the Guru Gobind Singh Ji style of Bani, right? But then you encounter these other shabads and like, oh, it's very similar to styles within Guru Granth Sahib as well. So the language art, from a language perspective, also he was great because he obviously, like all the other Sikh gurus and himself, have learned Persian and Braj and Punjabi, and and his Bani shows that as well. So I don't know what you meant by this Guru Dasam Granth's inspiration and influence, but another salient feature of some that are attributed to Guru Granth, some of the Bani that's attributed to Guru Gobind Singh Ji, is the kind of explanation of, or the metaphors and explanation of shastras, right, of weapons, and how he portrays in the language, in the poetic kind of rhythms, how he uses the words related to shastras is also phenomenal. Again, like I said, I wouldn't be able to comment on it from any poetic or literature lens, just as a mere Sikh who gets inspired by those that are attributed to him. So
that was great, thank you.
Yeah.
We actually do have a third question that just came in as well.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, I
so
see it. I
question,
actually see it. Yeah.
Perfect.
How did falconry emerge as a skill of the Guru? Was it a Mughal influence? Was hunting sanctioned by the Gurus and for sport? Okay, great question. And I wouldn't answer this in the context of Guru Gobind Singh Ji, because it is maybe well known, maybe not well known, that prior Gurus also had falcon. Again, hawk, by the way. So the Baj is really a hawk versus falcon is a different bird. But a very interesting tidbit that I learned, I did not know, is well, I knew that there was a battle that Guru Hargobind Ji fought. All right, it was called the Battle of Amritsar, and one of the, which is phenomenal as we study our Sikh history, is the reasons for battle. It was never about territory, that's of course, but it had something to do with like a sort of a, I don't know how to express it, but like a jealousy or a rivalry between sovereigns and royals, right? So Guru Hargobind Sahib used to also go on the hunt, and the I guess Baj or the hawk of a different Mughal party fell into the hands of the Sikh party, of the Sikh warrior party at that time. And all is, I guess, fair in love and war, but it wasn't a war per se. But they captured it, and when the other group wanted to get it back, the Sikhs refused to give it back, and then that kind of escalated into a battle. That was one of the reasons. There were many other reasons associated with that, but so to answer your question, I cannot comment whether it was a Mughal influence, but the royal what I call paraphernalia, the verbiage used for our gurus, we know by the time of Guru Arjan Sahib, he started being called Sacha Patsha. Ardas, or supplication, which used to go to the royal courts, was happening now in the Guru's court. So the chandoa, like a canopy, the chor, the another royal insignia, all had started by the time of Guru Nanak, Guru Angad Sahib, Guru Amar Das Ji. So as time went on, the what one may see as like really equivalent royal pyramid, the idea of a takht, right? The Mughal court creates a takht in Agra, and essentially basically says that no other takht in the kingdom can be higher than this takht or throne. What does Guru Hargobind Sahib do? He makes it higher than that, right? So any challenge that's been given that is unsanctioned, does not make any sense. The Sikh Gurus taught us that we should challenge that. Some historians will also write that the turban was only reserved for royalty, and but Guru Gobind Singh Sahib or all other Sikh Gurus did wear a turban. And challenging any type of hegemony, any type of oppression is, I think, part and parcel from the beginning, from Guru Nanak regarding Sikhi. So I wouldn't, there may be influences, cultural and political, but Gurus have to also engage with the times. So they may have emerged as a result like that, but I wouldn't say that it was because of Mughal influence. I am no one to comment whether hunting was sanctioned or not by the Gurus. It's very clear in Guru Har Rai Ji also created a zoological sanctuary, right? And getting animals and for the Sangats, a medicinal herbal garden was something that Guru Har Rai Ji also had. So those were things that communities building up and different traditions that the Gurus gave patronage to, and they partook in. I think it was common at that time. So that's all I can say. From an opinion, I cannot say whether it is or was not sanctioned.
Okay, that was great. I believe that is the end for our questions for today.
All right, sounds good.
So I just want to say one more time, thank you so much, Inderpreet, for your time today. This was great. And thank you for everyone who joined. I hope everyone has a great night.
Yes, thank you very much again. Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru
Ji Ki Fateh.